Good afternoon. We're here on this warm and decidedly wet East Tennessee Sunday afternoon. Hi, Ava. With our cow dog here. This is Ava, our Catahoula leopard. She's the do anything farm dog that likes to sleep on the couch. So she's hanging out with us this afternoon. But we've got some. We're going to talk some about holsters and belts and pistols, and I got in something this week that I'm really excited about. So we're going to go ahead and get that kicked off. So I was going to do an unboxing out of this, and I actually started to. But then, you know, new leather really requires some break-in. The holster was super tight. Not that that's a bad thing by any means, but I wanted to show a better representation of the quality that you're going to get and not make it look bad out of the box when it's just simply a break-in thing. So this is a full floral carved set from American Classic Gunleather. Alex over there, I had him make it up for me. Quality work. Definitely spent some money on it, but you know, it's all handmade, hand tooled, hand dyed. Everything is top of the line. I asked for a very fancy rig. I knew what I wanted and I knew what I was going to spend ordering it. You would probably spend almost double that ordering this same thing from somewhere like El Paso Saddlery or somebody with a bigger name. Whereas Alex, man, he turns out some great work. He gave me a 10-week timeline, hit it almost to the day. Was very, very available throughout the process. If I had any questions, anything I wanted to ask him, accommodate any changes I wanted to make, because I'm fickle and couldn't make my mind up whether this was going to be for a 4-inch gun or a 6-inch gun up until basically the day he said he was ready to start. When he did, we went ahead and called it on the 4-inch gun. So, well, first I'll talk about the gun that it was built for here. So this is a Smith & Wesson. Let me open it just so you can see that it's clear. Don't want to flag myself. I'm pointing it off to the side here, even if it doesn't look like it. But you can see no rounds in the cylinder. Gun is clear. This is a Smith & Wesson model 25-5 in 45 Colt. This is a 4-inch blued gun. I had a 6-inch one of these in nickel, and that was the other one that was a contender for this rig. It really came down to portability and the ability to carry the gun. It's already an in-frame gun. In-frames are big, heavy. Up until the X-frame came out, it was the biggest thing you could get from Smith. They're building big bores. I'm a 45 Colt fan. I like a big, heavy slug moving at a moderate pace. I find that it does pretty much anything I could ask of a handgun, especially here in East Tennessee and the Appalachians. If I was in the Rockies or in Alaska, I may be more inclined to consider something like a 44 Magnum or 454 Casull, something like that. But 45 in a moderate loading does everything I could ask for in a handgun. This one is wearing Kalina, Claro Walnut, target grips, presentation grade if I remember correctly. Just an overall beautiful piece. Good dark bluing. Gun's been carried some. It's definitely got some blue and wear at the muzzle, but nothing crazy. Point of aim, point of impact every time. So this is the gun this rig was built for. This was built specifically for this gun, not just a 4-inch in frame, but this is what was in my mind when I ordered this. So in that gun, we carry it stoked full of Minuteman ammo. These are a 255 grain lead semi-wad cutter, running 930 feet per second out of a 5-inch, so they're probably a hair slower out of this 4-inch, but not by much. I've got close to 500 of these through this gun now. It's a heavy hitting cartridge. That big heavy 255 grain wad cutter, I mean, it hits and it just drives deep. Bad medicine on hogs. I would have full confidence using this on a whitetail deer, coyote, anything you might run into out here in farm country. Definitely good on a feral hog or something like that. So, and I mean, 2-legged predators as well. If it'll put down a 300-pound hog, it'll have no problem getting the penetration that you need to put a man down, if that's what it really came down to. Now, I'm not advocating a 6-shot in-frame revolver is the end-all be-all self-defense firearm. In an urban environment, or in most environments, I appendix carry either a high-capacity 9mm or a high-capacity 45 ACP 2011. Concealed, the gun's put away, so let's just put that to bed right now. I am not saying that you should be out here swaggering around with a cowboy rig on all the time everywhere you go, especially if you live in certain environments. If that's what you want to do, by all means. I think the Second Amendment covers that. I don't really particularly care if you want to open carry or concealed carry. It ain't none of my business. But for what you would want a handgun to do in Appalachia, I think the 45 Colt is the ticket. The ammo is semi-affordable as anything's going to be these days. It's not quite as easy to find as something like 44 Magnum. You can walk into about any gun store out here in Tennessee and find 44 Mag. You can usually find 45 Colt on the shelf. It may or may not be what you want. Like I said, I order these from Minuteman Ammo. Real good ammo. It ships quick. The price is right, so that's what I order. I try to keep 500 rounds or so stocked up. All right, let's get on to the meat and potatoes of this video. So, this is the rig. So this is a goatskin lined, full floral tooled belt. To the inch, what I asked for as far as measurements go. Couple of things I will note that I didn't really realize when I unpacked it, and that Alex had to sort of tell me. So if you'll notice, the tail, the last hole is right there, so you have a rather short tail. At first that caught me off guard. I'm used to a longer tail on a belt, being able to tuck it further around, but there's a reason for that. So I also ordered a 6-round slide. The way I carry my slide and the way most people carry their slide is under their offhand side, just to the left of the belt buckle. I'll post some pictures, both of the rig separately and of me wearing it, and you'll notice that if the tail was any longer, the tail would get all over the slide. It would either be trying to tuck into it or riding over the top of it. So to keep the slide clear, the tail of the belt is slightly shorter. It doesn't affect the wear of the belt. It was just something that I had to get used to when I first opened it. So this is fully carved. It holds these 45 rounds with the perfect amount of tension. They're not going to fall out. I mean, you can turn it over, shake it, whatever you want to do. They're not going anywhere. So if you take a tumble or something like that, you're not going to come up missing all your ammo. But quick push, round slides right out. All the way down, all of them are the same. The stitching is absolutely gorgeous. The carving work is absolutely gorgeous. The thing is sized perfectly to fit between 2 belt loops on a normal pair of jeans. I usually wear Duluth or Wranglers, depending on the day. And it fits every pair of pants I've tried it with so far. So that is it's a great setup. It's not speed loader quick by any means. I've got some speed loaders for this thing, and I'll probably have some pouches made up by someone at some point to carry those in that match this. I think speed loaders have their place, just like moon clips. I'm eventually going to get the gun cut for moons with 45 ACP. I think they definitely have their place, but for a woods gun, being able to have a slide to individually load and tailor rounds to the gun and what you're doing, I think is paramount for what the gun is intended for. Because you can carry a couple of hard casts like this has got in it, and then if you're in snake country, you can always throw some CCI snake shot in there. Or if you want to have your first round in the gun, a CCI snake shot, but know that you have a full load of backups, the semi-wad cutters, you can do that too. So you've got your slide, and then you have your just absolutely gorgeous holster. This is the Legend model. So when I first got it, like I said, I started to make a video about it yesterday, or whatever day I got it, Friday, I guess. I started to make a video about it then, but I decided when I went to put the gun in, it worried me a little bit, honestly. I messaged Alex and I said, hey buddy, this gun won't go in this holster. I said, it's too short. And Alex's response was pretty much, cram it in there. shove it all the way down. It's going to be tight. It's made to be tight. It'll loosen up and break into the gun as you go. So about 2 days in, a lot of draws, a lot of really shoving it down deep into the bottom of the holster, letting the holster spread out and tailor itself to the gun. And now the sight's sitting right in the channel where it should. Everything is starting to line up. So you can see here, just seat the gun. You can see the sight's in the channel right there, right where it's meant to be. The hammer's fully covered. This is to keep you from snagging that hammer. The gun sits in there well. There's no retention strap. This is an open top holster. This is an open trigger guard holster. If that makes you nervous, I wouldn't suggest it for you. Knowing what I know about double action revolvers, this gun's got about a 10 to 12 pound trigger on it in double action. It's not something that overly concerns me. Guns were carried this way for years, decades even, before we became super conscious about covering triggers. And most of that came from the Wonder 9s not having safeties on them, which makes an uncovered trigger a huge liability. If you have something even like a 1911 that you carry cocked and locked, they were carried with the triggers uncovered for years. I'm not advocating one way or the other. I see both sides of the situation, and I think that's a decision for grown adults to make for themselves. For me, I'm fine with it being uncovered on something like this, where it's got a big heavy trigger and the ability to ride the hammer going into the holster. I have no real concerns about an uncovered trigger on this particular type of gun. But man, just the quality of detail here is insane. I don't know that I've ever seen carving this good on a pistol. Maybe once or twice. I mean, there's some excellent leather guys out there, but this is about as good as I've ever seen. And speaking of fitment, so obviously he made the belt for the holster. So the belt fits with very, very little clearance. The holster does not move on the belt. It rides up nice and high, puts the grip up above your belt line where it's easily accessible. But this is one of those things I'm going to continuously update as well. So as this wears in, as I wear it around the farm here, it's going to be my barbecue rig, my go-to farm rig and fishing rig, that kind of thing. So we're definitely going to put some wear and tear on this holster. And yeah, it's fancy, and it was not cheap by any means, but it's a working rig, and that's what I bought it for. That's what I had it built for. That's why I wanted the heavy grain leather and the goat skin lined, is because it's going to be a working rig. I'm going to tote it around, and we're going to beat it up and wear it out and see what it looks like in 6 months and a year. So, you know, stay tuned. There'll be a lot more to come with this. We're going to get into some gun stuff on the channel, show you a few other wheel guns, a few of my semis, a few different things. Might get into some long gun stuff, but I appreciate y'all coming and hanging out with me, and hope you have a good day.